What is the difference between TV types, such as HD, OLED, UHD, etc.? I'm trying to buy a new TV and I am confused between LED, mini LED, QLED, OLED, etc. How many of these things are marketing terms, and which ones are actually meaningful in terms of a good TV? LED, mini LED, and QLED are all variations of the same thing. Shine light through an LCD layer of pixels, which have color to make an image. LED will have maybe a few dozen light-emitting diodes behind the picture layer, letting the TV darken and brighten them to give better contrast. Mini LED might have hundreds, 1,000, even more, LEDs, so the number of zones is much higher, giving even better contrast. QLED uses quantum dots, basically a fancy science pigment, to make really vibrant colors. Think like how blacklight stuff works, but without the blacklight. OLED are dots that glow colors all by themselves, so they don't need any LEDs behind them, and this means you can have effectively infinite contrast, because an OLED that is black is off, while an LED pixel that is black is just blocking most, but not all, of the light trying to pass through it. More contrast means better looking picture. The best of all though is micro LED. It uses regular LEDs, which are very bright and colorful, but they are very tiny, so you can use 3 of them to make a pixel without an LCD layer to make the color layer. This gives you the bright image and LED display, with the vibrant color of quantum dots, and the infinite contrast of OLED. Also, very expensive right now, and might be a while before it's affordable because OLED keeps getting better. SD, HD, UHD are how many pixels are in the image. More pixels means more detail. SD is like a DVD, looks okay on a 32-inch screen, but not so good on a 55. HD is basically 4x DVD pixels, so it looks nice and sharp on a 55-inch TV, but maybe a little soft on an 85. UHD, 4K, is 4x more pixels again, and looks good on even very big screens. Movie theaters are currently 4K resolution, for example. There's also 8K, but there's not really any content for that yet. LED is light-emitting diode. It's the light source to illuminate the screen. Pretty much all TVs now are LED lit at minimum. It's the sales pitch used when the TV has nothing else to advertise. Mini LED uses smaller LEDs to illuminate the screen. It adds costs, but smaller LEDs mean some can be turned off to replicate a deep black color. Relates to zone dimming, where parts of the screen can be illuminated at different levels to create deeper dark colors. Generally higher quality picture than larger LED panels. QLED is largely marketing. It is an LED panel with quantum dots on the screen in front of the LED panel. Allegedly the quantum dot screen is superior to a non-quantum dot screen, but the benefits are probably marginal. OLEDs are organic light-emitting diodes. Each diode can be individually turned on or off, so it's like mini LED taken to the extreme. It gives remarkable control over darkness levels, so you get very deep blacks and dark colors with tremendous contrast changes possible within an image. It's generally the most expensive panel type. Also, while superior with dark images, OLEDs are not as bright as traditional LEDs, so they may be harder to see in bright environments. HD, FHD, and UHD are resolutions, referring to how many individual little bulbs or shutters the TV is built with. Do note that projectors often use them to refer to what signals they can accept as input instead, not literal bulbs. But we'll get to that. LED, mini LED, and things like full array local dimming refers to what type of bulbs are sat behind those millions of tiny shutters. IPS, VA, and TNR types of tiny shutters. The Q in QLED and QD-OLED refers to some very large soot particles of extremely specific size that are sat somewhere between the bulbs and your eyes to make the light from the bulbs change to very specific colors. OLED, QD-OLED, and WOLED are all even tinier bulbs that don't need any shutters at all, as you can fit millions of them in a phone screen, let alone a TV. They have other disadvantages, such as being more likely to overheat and damage themselves, but can be turned off entirely for much blacker blacks than the shutters just trying to block out the light of still on behind them bulbs. And like I said, none of these are actual bulbs. All modern displays use light-emitting diodes, while some older ones used fluorescent tubes. All of them are meaningful in terms of a good TV, but the only ones that haven't also been used by shit TVs yet are OLEDs. And like I said, those still tend to overheat and damage themselves, though it has gotten much better. Two main categories nowadays: LCD and OLED. OLEDs emit their own light. A black pixel is literally off, so blacks can't get any blacker than that. There's different variations, but that's the common thing the OLEDs share. The rest are almost all a variation of LCD. It's a big umbrella for a lot of new spins on the now very old technology. LCD TVs need a black light of some sort. How you do this backlight makes a big difference. LED LCDs use an LED instead of the older, non-existent, CFL LCDs. Sometimes TVs have LEDs on the edges, sometimes behind. Sometimes they can have a bunch of different zones, so part of the picture can be dark while the rest is lit. This helps make blacks deeper and gives better contrast. The more zones, the better control over this you have. The newest iteration of this is Mini LED, which has a bunch of tiny LEDs to have very granular control over backlight. But it still doesn't compare to the ultimate granular control of an OLED, because each individual pixel has its own light, and you can't get better than that. QLED is just an LED with quantum dots, which is now referring to color rather than backlight control. It's more colors by changing the pixel arrangement. Someone can go into further detail, but they typically have better brightness and more color accuracy. QLEDs are typically normal LEDs with lots of zones or mini LEDs. LEDs' advantages are that they are cheaper to make and typically can be brighter than OLED. A newer tech that isn't out yet is called micro-LED, which is basically very similar to OLED, but a little bit better in every way, allowing it to reach brightness currently only seen with high-end LED QLED TVs.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next exciting video.